Kathleen McGiveron, and in this episode we're going to be talking about what tools do you need to start a pottery studio at home. So grab something to write with and something to write on for some note taking, and let's get inspired. Is some pottery tools if you don't have them already. I'm guessing that if you're starting a pottery studio at home, you probably already have tools, but my recommendations are getting a paddle or making a paddle like I have. I've just used some scrap wood and I cut some shapes out of some, like I said, scrap plywood with my jigsaw, and then I sand them so nice and smooth so you can shape your hand-built works a little easier. If you're doing wheel throwing, you're going to need some trimming tools. Like this is a mud tool here for trimming, or your metal loop tools for trimming. You'll need a paintbrush for applying glaze, like a nice soft-haired bamboo brush. Ooh, look at that dust coming out. Healthy. Bamboo brush for applying glaze, nice and smooth without brush marks, unless you want that for texture. Or I like to finish my artworks with paintbrushes instead of sponges so I don't erode away material and I'm left with a bunch of grog. You're also going to need some wood tools and some ribs. So you need a variety of different wood tools. These mimic your thumb or your fingers. They're extensions of your fingers or your hands. If you're doing pottery, this is a sponge on a stick so you can get to the bottom of your pots and get out that water at the base. If you're doing wheel throwing, you're going to need ribs, a variety of ribs. Get a couple. You need like one wood rib and one rubber rib. Again, they come in different firmnesses. Like this is a mud tools one. You can see it's pretty firm. And then the red ones are extra bendy! Extra bendy! The ribs come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. This one I won at Insika one year. Yeah, a door prize. So I would get those, or make some. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. No rules. My favorite tool, and I talk about this all the time, is instead of using a nail tool, I like a fork. For scoring, I make a little itty bitty baby mark and rely on some junky scoring. When you can get it done quickly and efficiently and make an aggressive mark so that way it sticks together like glue. Ooh, I shouldn't do that. Alright, so you need some tools. If you're throwing, number 2, you're going to need a pottery wheel. If you're a potter, you're going to need a pottery wheel. Look on Facebook Marketplace. I got mine secondhand for a couple $100, way like over 10 years ago. I don't know what brand it is. It's not a great brand. It does the job for what I need because I'm not a production potter. I just do it for when I want pots. I think most people like to get the Shimpo Whisper or anybody who's making a Whisper version. You want a Whisper quiet one because if you listen to mine when it turns on, and you'll see that in my wheel throwing videos, it's like I'm not exaggerating. But I really do need it. If that's one thing I said, I'm like, oh, somebody's like, oh, Kathleen, you want this wheel? I'd be like, yes, give me a Whisper wheel. I would love that. Okay, next thing, if you're trying to be doing a studio, whether you're hand building and having an at-home ceramic studio, whether you're hand building or you're throwing pots, you're going to need some shelves. You're going to need some shelves for your finished work. You're going to need some shelves for in progress that are lower that you can just take some work off and store on while you're working on it, or if you're doing pots, you're doing lots, you're going to want to pop it on and not get off your butt every single time. So you're going to want to have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of shelves. The end. Lots of shelves. All right. So my question for you is, are you starting an at-home art studio? Please let me know, or are thinking about it, or in progress. Please let me know in the comment section of this video. I would love to hear it. And then we can subscribe to each other if you have a channel as well. Oh my gosh, that would be fun. I can have some online friends. That'd be great. Let me know anyways, regardless, and we can talk and comment and collaborate together in the comments of this video. Okay, number 4 is paintbrushes. I already kind of talked about this, but you're going to need some paintbrushes for glazing, soft hair bamboo brushes like this one. Don't judge how dirty my stuff is. It's been used, obviously. So it's a bamboo brush. It makes nice soft marks for applying glaze. Unless you spray it or dip it, then you don't need to. that's another process too. If you're making your own glazes, you're gonna also need to have storage for your glaze materials and scales. Yeah, proper storage for chemicals is ideal. Buckets, if you're making big batches of it for dipping and pouring glazes, if that's where you're at, right? You gotta consider that's gonna take up space. But if you're just buying pre-made glazes and you just need a brush, you just need the pre-made glazes and you need a brush to apply it. And I also, again, like I said, I use it for finishing my sculptures before. I use it instead of sponging. I apply slip-on or some water to smooth out surfaces instead of sponging, which is pretty much eroding your work. All right, the next thing you're gonna need is a canvas board. It looks like this. Wow! You might be wondering, Kathleen, where did you get this board? Well, I went to Home Depot. I bought a board that's 24 by 24 inches or whatever this is. Looks about 24 by 24. And then I went and bought some canvas from a fabric store. And then I stapled it on! And you use it for wedging. But you don't need a whole canvas table, and you don't need a whole bunch of stuff, a whole area full of canvas. You don't need to dedicate a whole table for that. I stick a board on there and then I can put it on when I need it, take it off if I want to use my table for something else, but I usually just leave it on. This one's about 15 years old and it looks pretty good considering all that wet moisture and wear and tear and how much wedging has been on there. I'm surprised it hasn't stretched, but it does. It stretches a little bit and then it goes right back to normal, and that's like 15 plus years old. Canvas, staple it to a board, done. But you do need something for wedging on, and that is going to give enough grip tooth to wedge your clay on. All right, next one is a respirator. You're going to go get a proper respirator that is fitted for your face. I know my filters are two different directions and they're not on the same way, but nobody's looking at me in my studio. Why would you be watching me do this? You need a respirator! So you don't breathe in stuff! Okay, that's all I need that for. You need a respirator so you don't breathe in bad things, because dry clay and glaze materials is toxic to breathe in. You don't want to be breathing it in. If you're making glazes, you need a respirator. If you're cleaning up your studio, just cleaning up and there's like a bunch of dust everywhere, you need to be wearing a respirator, because that dust is what is the wet clay is not toxic, the dry dust is, because there's silica in that clay. And that can create silicosis when you breathe it in through your lungs. All right, which I believe is like the crystallizing or hardening of your lungs. Not sure, can't remember. Look it up on Google, that's what it's for. All right, next thing you need is a banding wheel, whether you're doing wheel throwing or if you're doing hand building. A banding wheel is essential. This one's a homemade one. My parents got me this. They bought the piece inside from the local pottery store. And then my dad cut out some wood circles and then attached it. And now I have a homemade banding wheel. It holds a lot of weight. It's actually really good. I love it. Isn't that sick? Now, if you're wanting a quiet one, I think Shimpo has one as well. There's one in my link up below in the description of this video for a banding wheel, or what else is it called? Decorating wheel? I don't know. Banding wheel, pottery wheel, but not an actual pottery wheel, banding wheel. They're pretty heavy. They hold a lot of weight, the metal ones. I have one in the description of this video. And then just know that all the links in my description of my video are Amazon affiliate links. That means I do get a commission if you do make any purchases through those links. But these are the things that I've used and have bought in myself. I have bought that banding wheel that's in the description of my video. It's just I don't have it here yet. It's coming. It's coming. But I can't show you yet because I don't have it yet. But anyways, I'm showing you the banding wheel I have already. And the reason why you use this is because while you're either decorating your piece or making, you can just turn it while you're working without touching it. Or if you're spraying it or airbrushing it. Say no more. So banding wheel, highly recommend. You need another thing in your studio that you're going to need is a surface to make on. So some tables. You're going to need a table surface to make on. I used to have just like a fold-up table for like 10 years, and then I finally upgraded because that started sagging in the middle with weight. That's all I used to have was folding tables because it was cheap. But you know what else is cheap is going to IKEA and getting like a desk from there. And that's what I use now. I also have a heavier duty table that my dad built me at one time. I use it for wedging in some heavier stuff and storing my clay on. But honestly, these IKEA tables are really decent and like they look clean, they're white. It's probably good enough for most people's work. Some people get some things that can go up and down, like raise up and down. You can do that if you want. Depends on how tall you're going, I guess. I don't do that. I just stand up. I bend over. It just depends on how you want to work. And that's all that has to be said about that. And also a scale. It's really depending on your process. But you do need something to surface to work on. Finally, number 9 is that you need a kiln. I have one like within reach. I can touch it right now. I touched it. You do need a kiln, or you need a place in your community that has a community kiln that you can go and use or rent for firing time. If you're working with clay, then you're going to need to fire your work. So either purchasing a kiln and having it in your home studio. You might be thinking, whoa, Kathleen, yours is like right there. Yeah, it is. I built my studio with proper ventilation built into here. I'll show you. Watch, wait, and listen. Oh, wrong one. Oh. There it is. Okay. I designed this space with the ventilation for this. Also, I don't sit in my studio when it's firing because it's off gassing and burning off raw material and chemicals. Hello. And also I move my kiln, to be honest, before I load it away from, and I have to move my stuff around my studio and move it away from the kiln. Because right now I have it against the wall. My easel's like literally touching it. I have like wires for my lighting running underneath it and canvases sort of against it. Because it's not on right now. And also I do larger scale works that take it takes me a while to fill my kiln. Anyways, that doesn't matter. But you need a kiln or somewhere to fire, like in your community that you're going to go and take your work to fire it. And that is how you set up and what you need to set up your, last thing, I didn't mention this, a spray bottle. This is so necessary. This is super necessary for making work. Yeah, if you're making a good spray bottle, invest in a good spray bottle. Don't go to the dollar store. It doesn't make this nice, beautiful mist. You like legitimately need, that's nice. And nice, in all seriousness though, you do need a good spray bottle. I love my Easy Sprayer Vaporizer. This one's a plant and garden sprayer. It's good. Because you want a nice evenness when you're spraying and wasting your work. And it's such an essential tool. I always forget to say it. I finally remembered. It's been sitting here for every video. You need a spray bottle. Get one. And my friend, that's it for this episode. Boom. Your next video to watch is how to make a pinch pot, a clay pinch pot for beginners. You can watch that video by clicking the link above or in the description of this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next episode.